Hey guys, welcome back to day 4 of Curriculum Week, and today we are talking 3rd grade curriculum picks for 2021 and 2022 school year. We're going to be talking about my daughter who has a lot of medical special needs and going to be showing you guys not only what we're using, but how we're adapting curriculum to work best for her. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Katie and welcome to Life in the Mundane. I am a second generation homeschool mom of 6 beautiful kiddos, and on this channel we talk all things resources. I love to share with you resources that are going to help you in your homeschooling and help encourage you in your biblical parenting, and how you can utilize those to their fullest potential so that you can make the most of the little moments. All right, before we jump into what we're using, I feel like I need to share a few of her medical special needs just so that you understand kind of what we're working with. I think this is always important when you have a child with special needs to sit down and see what are your child's strengths and weaknesses. What have they been through? What kind of trauma have they maybe experienced, whether that's physical, emotional, whatever it is, and that will help you to know which curriculum is best for your child. So just a quick background on my daughter. She has a genetic disorder called 22q 11.2 deletion syndrome, which we affectionately call just 22q, and I will drop a link down below if you guys want to learn more about this condition, as it's actually not as rare as you might think, and it's really interesting read, but it can manifest itself in up to 180 something variations, and she has quite a few kind of side effects, so to speak, of this 22q. So a lot of different medical conditions that stem from the root cause of the 22q. So a couple of those are hearing loss. She had some speech delays, feeding delays, developmental delays and things like that as a child, but also required a lot of different surgeries for different medical things, and has been diagnosed with juvenile arthritis as one of the more recent diagnoses. Thankfully, she is doing very well right now health-wise. We are right on the cusp of getting her juvenile arthritis kind of under control with medication, and so overall, she's in pretty good health. However, we had to spend the first several years of her life, like many years of her life, just trying to keep her healthy, to get her to eating, to getting to walking and talking and being able to hear. And so school took on a back burner. Those were not nearly as important of skills as just being able to survive. Now that she is doing well, we are jumping all in on school, but that has put her a little bit behind, and that's okay. Because like I've said in other videos, we don't worry about behind, we just worry about forward motion and doing better than she has been doing. So today I'm going to show you guys her curriculum picks. I am going to show you our group curriculum picks, which you guys, if you've watched my other videos, have seen. But I'm going to share with you guys how we're adapting those to work best with her, because there are things I want her to be involved with the whole group, but she can't do it just the way everybody else can. So let me show you that. First up, for history, she is using Story of the World with us. We're going to be reading this aloud. She gets really antsy. She has a lot of trouble sitting and listening, like many young children do. And so what I love about Story of the World is that they offer an activity book where you can photocopy pages that have to do with the different chapters. And so I bind those for her. I have a whole video on how this looks like, how we set it up, if you guys want to check it out. But I bind those for her, and then she'll just color those as we're reading. And having her hands busy helps her audio retention so much more. So we really are appreciative of that. And just the fact that it's a story-based history also helps things to just flow a little easier for her to retain more. Okay, for science, it is a very similar concept. We're going to be using Apologia's chemistry and physics to do with the kids, but this has a lot of hands-on components, which is perfect for her because she's definitely more of a kinesthetic and a visual learner than an auditory learner. And while we're reading, she'll be able to work on the student journal along with her sibling, with her sister. Her and her are going to share the junior book of the student book, and this has coloring pages, which is one of the things I love about the junior version, is that it has coloring pages in here. It has different activities in the back that they're going to use to make sort of lap booking type of tools. If you guys want to see inside this and all the amazing things it has to offer, check out the video up in the iCards or down in the description below to see a flip through of that. For Bible, we are going to be using the Who is God series, and along with a lot of other things, and I'll kind of flesh that out as to what that will look like later on, probably next month, and so you guys can subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. We'll be using the Who is God from Apologia. We'll be reading that, but they also have activity books with that as well. So she will be doing those as well, just to give her something hands-on to do, give her that visual component as she is listening. When it comes to math, we are doing something completely different. We are doing Horizons Math. Now, Now, she was doing language lessons for a living education, and for various reasons, she went through level 1 and level 2 and did really well, but we felt like there were still some gaps. And that's a pretty common thing with kids with 22Q, is that math is something that they struggle with, and they need to be introduced to different concepts like 100 different ways in order for things to stick. And while I loved math lessons for living education for my other kids as it led up to them switching over to teaching textbooks, ultimately, I think it just wasn't quite the right fit for her because she needed more repetition and she needed to come at things from a different angle. So we switched over to Horizons. We did go back to level 1 as there is a lot more involved in this than there is in teaching in the math lessons for living education. But she loves the fact that it's very visually based. As you can see, it's just appealing visually, but then they also just take topics from a lot of different angles. So they'll show you your math problems like this, and they'll show it horizontally, and they'll show them on a number line, and they'll show them with blocks or with visuals. And so they teach it a lot of different ways. We love the teacher's book that comes along with this. I'm gonna do a whole video kind of doing a flip through and sharing with you guys what we've learned, because we actually started this probably about a month or so ago. And so we've already had a chance to dive into it and are really, really enjoying it. As far as in addition to that for math, there are a lot of elements to that, like working on flashcards for your math facts and other fun things like that. So we'll probably just stick to those extracurriculars that the curriculum includes versus going and finding outside resources. For language arts, we are doing as our core to our language arts program, we are actually doing a program called Soundcase. Now this is a curriculum not so much for homeschoolers as it is on the pricey side for sure, and requires special training to have to go through. But this is something that's actually a prerequisite to the tutoring that my older kids are getting professionally several days a week. And so I have taken the training for this, and I am teaching her and some of other kids in our family and in our group. I'm teaching them the Soundcase curriculum that teaches just the basics of a lot of phonics principles, but also a lot more than that. Like, it's hard to explain all the things that this is taught in this program, but they work on learning how to write their letters in cursive, which is supposed to be really helpful long-term, especially if she does end up having dyslexia, which several of her siblings do. So the odds are very high that that's a possibility. And so we are going through that a couple of days a week, and I am teaching her that program. And it includes a lot of different aspects to language arts. But what we're doing on the days when we don't have tutoring, or in addition to the tutoring, we're doing a lot of practice. So she's working a lot with cursive letters and doing that. I'm not doing a handwriting curriculum, but I'm just having her copy different things. I'm having her practice writing different words. The Soundcase curriculum has this amazing alphabet mat. And so you've probably seen it in my Instagram stories, and we will practice writing out and spelling different words with it. And we will have, it has little blue letter tiles that we put on here, so she practices working and alphabetizing and things like that, and it's been amazing for her. In addition to that though, we also will be working on Explode the Code. Explode the Code is an independent workbook that your children can do that helps work on basic phonics skills, spelling skills, things like that. She will be working and starting at book 1, and I'm hoping to get through book 1 and maybe 2 this year, but we'll see. We just go at her pace. Again, it's about that forward motion. I'm not worried about keeping up with the Joneses. I want to give her that kind of fun and independence, because she really wants independent work like her siblings, but there really isn't a whole lot that she can do independently. So this kind of allows her to be like the big kids. We will also be using this resource from Iew. They have their own phonics program, and my daughter's actually gone through that phonics program, and we loved it. It was really, really, really well done. But one of the things they do that's really strong with this phonics program is they have games, and these are just file folder games. They're very, very simple. You don't have to laminate them. They're all in black and white, so you can color them in, and they have the ability to print these out, make them into file folder games, and play to review different phonics concepts or different sight words. And when we were doing these games on a daily basis, about 15 minutes a day of just playing these phonics games, her phonics, she just grew in those skills. It was insane. But we got away from that as we started using other programs, and as we got into even tutoring this year. And so I really want to bring that element back. So while we're not going to go back to the beginning and doing the whole curriculum necessarily, the plan is to bring back the phonetic games and pull those out and start playing those every day. So I don't do assigned reading for her, obviously. She's not at that reading level, but I do read a lot of books with her, and she loves to listen to audiobooks with her sister. When Shia will have assigned audiobook readings, I'll just have her tag along with her sister. They'll play Legos while they listen. It works out beautifully. For extras, I don't know if we're going to be doing typing or not. I do typing for all of my other kids on typingclub.com, but some of the skills and some of the things with her arthritis, it just depends. I want to kind of get that under control before we have anything that's really heavy intensive with her fingers, because doing that kind of stuff for arthritis is probably the worst in her fingers out of anywhere right now. And so that's just really painful. And so right now I don't feel like that's a necessary thing to pursue. She does do therapy and sees a therapist once a week, which has been super helpful for us. And there's just a lot of life skills that she can work on. Not even so much cooking, but just like learning how to do certain cleaning tasks or learning different social skills like physical boundaries, things like that. And so it's one of those where, while again, we're not going to have a formal curriculum to do that, we are going to just try and take one skill, probably either once every month or once every 3 months if it's a bigger skill. And we're going to work on how to master that, because ultimately, I want her to be able to live a successful life. My end game is not that she would be at a certain level of academics by the time she graduates, but more that she would be able to function in the real world, that she would be able to contribute to society. As far as her extras, we do ask each of our kids what they would like to focus on, and she mentioned geography. She would like to focus on geography and learning a little bit more about different places and countries and cultures. She loves that kind of stuff. We actually already have that put into our curriculum when it comes to our Fun Fridays. So we homeschool 4 days a week with traditional homeschooling, and then the 5th day we do homeschool, but we like to make it fun schooling, and we cover different topics we don't get to during the other days. I'll have a video coming out with what our fun schooling projects are and our plans are for the next school year coming out here really soon. But essentially, geography is one of those pieces, and so we will definitely be tackling that. But then with her, we may do a little bit more discovery or exploration into places that are of particular interest to her. So I would love for you guys to check out our video tomorrow. I'm going to be revealing our preschool curriculum. I'm so excited about this. And then Saturday, we're going to be talking about the best curriculums for large homeschool families. What works when it comes to managing, and what do you maybe need to consider if you're picking curriculum for a large homeschool family? All these things and more are coming up soon. So be sure to stick around and head over to Life in the Mundane at Facebook and on Instagram so that you can be entered into our giveaway. Because at the end of this week, I'm going to be picking one winner who is going to win an Amazon gift card and some of our favorite curriculum. So be sure to check that out. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.